Herrington. My first name Verlin, Verlin. Last name Herrington, Herriington.
And where do you live?
I live at Capellas Beach, Washington.
How old are you?
30 years old.
And what is your occupation?
I am a deputy sheriff for Great Harbor County.
So, the incident we've been discussing, could you give us when that took place?
It was July 26th. It was on a Sunday.
Yes?
In 69.
And what time?
It was 2:35 a.m.
What were you doing at that time?
I'd been on an incident at Hump Tulips, and I was en route by way of DK Road, by Grass Creek Road to the beach, and then to my residence.
You were working at that time?
Right.
And what was it that happened while you were making that trip?
As I was going down DK Road, I rounded a corner. My first impression was of a large bear standing in the middle of the road. And I either had to stop for the bear or hit him, so I decided to stop, put on the brakes, came to a screeching halt, and coasted up the flat grade as far as I could without startling the animal as I was looking at it as I was going towards it. This animal, in my opinion, was not a bear, because you could see by the way it was standing that it had no snout, it had a face on it. Its eyes reflected, and when I come to a complete stop, I could see in the headlights of my car that it had feet on it instead of paws. It had breasts, and I centered my spotlight on my patrol car on it. It walked to the edge of the road. It didn't fall down on all fours like a bear would. It walked upright as a person would. It walked to the edge of the roadway, stopped, turned, still looking at me. I readjusted the spotlight on my car so I could look at it better. Its feet had hair down to the soles, but you could see the outline of the foot. It did have toes. Its fingers, its hand was in a position where it was spread out, and it did have fingers. After I'd readjusted the spotlight, I rolled the window down, I pulled my revolver, and crawled out of the door. I aimed my revolver at it, and as I cocked the hammer on it, the animal went into the brush. I got back in my car and drove off. Reported the next morning back to the scene and went through the area. Found where the animal had went into the bush and where it had come back out onto the roadway.
Did you find any tracks at all?
Yes, I found one indentation in the ground. I did take a photograph of it. It wasn't such a print that you could pour a cast of.
How big was it?
1/2 inches. The animal itself, I would say, was around 7 to 7.5 feet tall, weighing approximately 300 to 325 pounds.
How far away were you when you were looking at it?
75 to 80 feet.
And how long would you say that you were able to observe it before it left the road?
Approximately a minute or a minute and a quarter, maybe a minute and a half.
And in that time...
this is from the time I come to the complete stop. I was observing as I coasted towards it. So maybe overall 2 minutes.
And in that time it was standing erect on its hind legs?
Yes, it was. And as it went off into the brush, it was still on its hind legs.
Where it went into the brush, that's down quite a steep little bank, isn't it?
Yes, it is.
And could you see that it remained erect as it went down the bank?
Until it went out of the spotlight, yes.
Or had it started to descend the bank in the spotlight, or was it gone from the spotlight?
It went down the bank, and approximately halfway down it went out of the spotlight, still in a erect position.
We could just sort of go over it from top to bottom. Can you tell us anything about the shape of the head? For instance, your first impression was a bear. Now, did it have a snout?
No, it didn't have a snout. I couldn't say that it has a nose like a person would have. But I believe there was no hair on its face. It's just dark leathery looking.
Could you get any impression of the length of hair on the head or on the rest of it?
I would say about 3 to 4 inches on the head.
I didn't have long hanging hair at all.
A little longer on the head than on the body, yes.
So what sort of neck did it have?
No neck.
And you mentioned, I think, that it had breasts.
Yes.
Where on the body were they located?
Like a human person. They were also covered with hair, except for the nipples, and they were skin.
And I think, did you mention the color yet?
No, I didn't. It was brownish black, dark color.
And you say you saw a hand with the fingers extended.
Yes.
Could you tell how long the arms were?
I would have to guess at how long they are. The arm that I was looking at was in a bent position, like you'd catch someone startled.
You didn't at any time see it? Well, how far down the body the arm would come, for instance?
No.
And comparing it to a human, would you say that it had long legs or short legs?
Long legs, I would say.
Did it take long strides?
No, it seemed like it took small steps as it walked. It was watching me as it walked to the edge of the road. They would be large steps for a normal human. But for this animal, they were short steps. About 3 steps from the center of the road to the edge.
Did you notice any difference between the way it walked and the way a human would walk?
Same type of position, same type of walk as a human being.
Any other details that you can recall that you noticed about it?
I believe that pretty much covers it.
You didn't see the teeth, I guess.
No.
Did it taper at the waist? Was it a narrow waist?
With a big body, big stout body. Best I remember it was. It could have been thinner at the waist than it was. But I don't remember for sure.
It was pretty heavily built.
Yes.
Okay, well, I guess that's covered then. Thanks very much.